See, that's why the Descartes is supposed to be the beginning of the modern era. This is the great thing. We all want to go. 4,000 years ago, the center was God, and all everywhere the center was God. Now the center is not, and that's it was the kind of the beginning of all our problems. So now everybody, whether it's Trump, you, everything is dependent on what I think, not what God thinks. So we come to Descartes, and just before Descartes we've got Luther. So Luther is the villain the villain who started the whole thing off. Of course, we don't want to go Protestant bashing, but that's the truth, because he said on one occasion, he was asked by Eckhart, and he said, "Do you mean to say, Luther, that you say before that all the thousands of years, hundreds of years of teaching, you're not interested in it? You're not interested in the Pope. You don't need a church. You don't need anything else. You just need I have a Bible. I take up the Bible, and the Holy Spirit tells me what the Bible is all about." Well, of course, it's just absurd. It's a gross arrogance. He said, "I don't need all." You can think about it. Between him and Jesus Christ was 1,500 years of scholars, of saints, of popes, of great teaching, of beautiful Renaissance blossoming all over the world, the beautiful churches and philosophers and all the engines and all these things were happening. And Luther comes and says, "I don't need anything. I Luther." And that's the Protestant church. So from him, everybody can say, "I don't need anything. It's just I think what I am." And so that's the modern age. We have this guy, but he says, "I am everything. I am the patriarch of Byzantium. I am the prince of England. I am China." And then you've got all these Arabs who said, Muhammad takes the place of God. And you say you're not. The Muslims say you're not supposed to worship anybody. Well, they worship Muhammad. If I take a picture of Muhammad thrown on the ground, I'm lynched. So they worship Muhammad. So it's not silly to say they don't worship. Anyway, the basic thing, because we're supposed to make little short bites here. This is the question. Dubito, doubt. The whole of his theory was based on doubt. So we all know the story is Descartes is in the army at the time. It was a mini ice age. It was freezing cold. So he was ensconced in a little hut. There was an oven there. It was quite hot. And this guy, Descartes, he used to get up after midday. He all his thought was when he was in bed. So he gets up and he says, "Okay, I want to know what the truth is. Now, to know what the truth, I have to doubt everything. Doubt. I don't know. What's left? I. All is left. Everything I. So everything depends on I. Then I say, I think. So I think. So the whole thing just comes down to this kid Descartes. In other words, we've got to follow this guy Descartes. I, therefore, because I, Eckhart, exist, you guys are all going to follow me, and you've got to do the same. So from then, you have Luther says, only the Bible, sola scriptura, sola gratia, sola Luther. And this guy, Descartes, he says the same thing. He says, only, he just I think. Well, I mean, it's completely absurd. So, just to finish it off, a few years after that, because when Luther came along, upset the apple cart, rent the seamless robe of Christ, caused complete chaos. Thousands were killed all over Egypt. They were the Presence War, and this led to the age of reason and the age of the Enlightenment. Well, absolute nonsense. They said before the Protestant came, that was the Dark Ages and their life. Because absolutely the opposite. The Protestants came, complete chaos. We just said, Protestants, thousands killed. 30 years religious wars, thousands killed. Half of the Germans were killed. Everything was just complete chaos. So from then on, just set up, what we have is doubt. Everything must start from doubt. If you start from doubt, then they say you get to certainty. Well, it's like saying, you have a house. There's nothing there at the bottom. What are you going to build on? If you're going to do anything, you've got to have a solid base. There's no solid base. there's no body that can say it's true or untrue because they've destroyed the Catholic Church. You know, in other words, Descartes and Luther, the two villains. But the other thing, Descartes, he never left the Catholic Church. He was a good Catholic, but he was pretty frightened because of his lively ideas. So anyway, we just mentioned this, but we can go into it in detail. But the problem is, he just says, "I think," and if it's "I" before, it's God, 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 God. Okay.